Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Amy Carr Hilton and I know firsthand the hardships of figuring out how to recover from chronic pain and other chronic symptoms on our own. So I'm inviting you here to explore our pain mastery together because it is you who has the greatest power to influence your own pain healing. And I really want to share this experience with you. So you need to understand a little about how you got here to figure out how to piece it all together. This is important because how you got here is also going to be your way out. Pretty exciting stuff. So I don't want to bore you with too much pain-splaining. There's just a couple key factors I need to go over. So we've got acute versus chronic pain. Acute pain is short-lived. It lasts long enough for tissues to heal without us re-injuring ourselves. And really, acute pain will generally go away even before the tissues are fully healed. Once your brain decides you're healed enough to go about your business. It's a beautiful system we have to make sure we give ourselves the time we need to heal an injury. Now, when we call pain chronic, all this means is that the pain has persisted longer than the normal tissue healing time. Second, we have physiology and neurology. Chronic pain involves a physiological change to the nervous system. These changes are actually plastic changes in your nociceptors, the parts of your nervous system that pick up on potential threat, both in your brain and at your joints, skin, muscles, tendons, organs, all your tissues. So we call this neuroplastic pain when it involves physiological changes to your nervous system. These plastic changes involve sensitization of all your protective systems. So this is how it happens that many people with chronic pain also have other chronic conditions like insomnia, digestive disorders, mood disorders, chronic fatigue, severe PMS, and the list goes on. It's all sensitized overprotective systems, and the work you do here should help you with all of it. There are some chronic conditions that you will likely continue to have pain. These are systemic chronic pain conditions like rheumatoid arthritis. But the good news is that these practices can still help the severity and the frequency of the pain experience, even in those situations. And third, we have your conscious experience. So chronic pain is very real. It's an experience that involves not only your anatomy, your muscles and bones, and it's not just in your head either. Neuroplastic pain is very complex, and it involves every aspect of your life, from your past trauma history, physical, psychological, or emotional, to your thoughts and beliefs, your societal structure and support system, to your own personal resiliency and self-efficacy, meaning your optimism and belief in your ability to accomplish things. And yes, it can also involve physical changes, like degenerative disc disease or stenosing of the spine. It is important to note, though, and I want you to really hear this, that not everyone who has physical changes or abnormalities will have pain. The physical anatomy alone is not enough of an explanation. And we don't quite know yet what happens to make a conscious experience of persistent pain. We do know the physiology, the neurological changes that happen, but we don't know yet what exactly it is that brings all these factors together and creates a sensation of pain in one person and no pain sensation in another person. And there is a lot of research on this, and we talk about this a little bit in the mini workshop about certain personality traits that tend to be common, but it's not solid research. We don't know exactly why yet. So this is why you'll hear me talk about your unique pain experience a lot, because every pain experience is unique. and you need to put your own puzzle together to be able to see it clearly. So the good news is that the problem is also the solution. And what it means to have plastic changes. We all have plastic changes. It's totally normal for your body and your nervous system to adapt to whatever situations are happening in life. With neuroplastic pain, your nervous system has developed a higher sensitivity to stimulation based on neural pathways that are extra sensitive and ready to send you danger messages so that you feel pain. Your brain may assume threat and cause you to feel pain even when there's no danger. So, not the greatest plastic change to have happen for you, but keep heart, because just the word plastic means not permanent. You can absolutely encourage those neural pathways to change again to more positive safety messages. And that is what we're doing. A biopsychosocial framework addresses the biological, psychological, and social aspects of the individual. This is where you get to recreate neural pathways of safety in your nervous system. This is entirely about your experiences, beliefs, past trauma. It's about everything unique to you, so there's no wonder relying on the passive forms of treatment that don't involve your participation haven't really worked so far, right? Like, there's no wonder nothing you've done so far has worked. It involves your individual unique context, and so it requires your individual unique attention. So that brings us to the self-care solution. Plastic changes that got you into persistent pain can change back to get you out of it. Plain and simple, you can change your pain. And you are the one who needs to take action and do it. Literally, no one else can heal your pain. So, don't just take my word for it. Let's take a look at some examples of how the brain interprets a situation to decide if you should or should not feel pain. So, in this photo here, you can see a man running from a bull. There's an event called Running of the Bulls that happens in Spain each summer. You've probably heard of it, where it's common to see people injured, sometimes very severely, and there have been deaths. Basically, what happens is a half dozen bulls are let loose running down the streets of Pamplona into the Plaza de Toros, the bullfighting ring, with thousands of runners each day of the event. So as you can imagine, people get hurt. Now, there is one case in particular that I'm going to talk about, and I debated showing an actual image of this man, this 26-year-old Australian, who was gored in the thigh in the 2014 Running of the Bulls. Gory photos are often used to teach pain science because they're shocking and they get the point across. I personally am a little on the softer, more sensitive side, so I don't like using these tactics, and I personally just don't like looking at gore. And I think you're all smart enough to understand the implications of this story without seeing that. However, if you want to see the story, there is an article in Express News in the UK with photos. I do caution you, though, that seeing images like that can put you on high alert, depending on your sensitivity to an image like that. In my Empowered Pain Mastery program, we get more into how your senses like sight can affect your high alert neural pathways. And of course, high alert neural pathways is what we're trying to do away with. We're trying to go for low alert neural pathways, safety pathways. So look at it if you want, don't look at it if you don't want. It's up to you. The story goes, this man tripped while running with the bulls and got caught up by a bull. He was torn open in his abdomen, chest, and thigh, and yet, in the midst of this, he managed to get away from the bull and get up and run and keep running. The photo of him running with his thigh splayed open, the large quadriceps muscles hanging out, is pretty spectacular. The fact that he later attested to feeling no pain while he was with the bull and desperately trying to get away is incredible. The body and the brain is amazing. And this is a clear example of how your brain interprets and sends messages depending on the circumstances. This man was torn open. He didn't have a disorder where he can't feel pain. That does exist though, by the way. So what do you think was happening in the moment of trying to get away that he felt no pain? Why would that happen? He's injured. Why would he not feel pain? And the answer is he was running for his life. In that instant, his brain was like, oh, hell no. This is like life or death, man. Like, get up and run. You don't have time for pain. So, do you think this man felt pain later? Yeah, he absolutely did. He probably felt pain for a while, and then he was probably kept sedated and on very strong meds to keep him comfortable enough through surgeries and healing. When the immediate threat was removed, you better believe there was pain. So after a threat to survival is removed, of course, the pain would have been a helpful message for his brain to send to keep him careful while many layers of tissue healed up. Now, the point I'm trying to make here with this very ugly story is that the pain sensation is a message. And it can be the complete opposite of what you might expect when there's injury to the body. It's not about the injury. Sometimes the brain decides you should not feel pain, even when there's injury or abnormality, because there's some interpretation it's making based on a lot of different factors that it's better if you don't feel pain in that moment. And next we have another story. This is kind of a famous case study in the nerdy pain science world. In 1995, the British Medical Journal reported on a 29-year-old construction worker who'd suffered an accident after jumping onto a plank. A 7-inch nail pierced his boot clear through to the other side. So just imagine that. You jump down, you're working, you jump down, and as you land, you're looking down at the ground where you're landing, and you see a nail go right up through your foot, all the way through, right up through the top. How's that going to feel? So in terrible pain, he was carted off to the ER and sedated with opioids. And when the doctors removed his boot, they discovered a miracle. The nail had passed between his toes without penetrating his skin. There wasn't even a scratch. There was zero damage to his foot. No blood, no puncture wound, not even a single scratch. But make no mistake, despite the absence of injury, his pain was real. He felt real pain. So what happened? Sensory receptors in the man's body reported to his brain that there had been an accident, that a nail had penetrated his boot. His brain, perceiving potential threat to his safety and well-being, used context to determine what had occurred, collecting information from all the 5 senses, including the visual of a nail sticking out the top of his shoe. Knowledge of the dangerous work environment and its risks, his coworkers' horrified faces, and whatever other data to make a guesstimate about what had happened and how to respond. So thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, including panic and fear, set off a cascade of biological and neuromechanical processes. His brain, synthesizing the sum total of all this information, decided that he was in danger, so it needed pain to protect him. In this case, real pain was generated entirely as a result of factors having nothing to do with actual tissue damage. Yet it was as intense as if he'd been stabbed. So there you have it. The brain is a wonderful thing. The brain can decide not to send pain even when there's injury, and it can decide to send excruciating pain even when there's no injury. And all of these split-second judgment calls are coming from your primitive brain, not your conscious thought, all based on every single factor at play. Your biological needs and psychological data from the environment, past experiences, expectations and beliefs, and social factors, like a response to how those around you react to a situation, and what is socially expected of a response. So, to feel pain or not to feel pain, that is the question. Put very simply, the brain makes that split-second decision to cause you to feel pain or not to feel pain based on the neural pathways that are the most familiar or well-trodden pathways with neuroplastic pain. It's like your brain sees a well-laid-out road that's easy to travel, leading to pain, and then off to the side there's like a really rough-looking trail, all overgrown and difficult to travel, leading to no pain. So what's a brain to do, right? Your brain picks the easy road, the familiar road, and you feel pain. So what we're trying to accomplish with these 3 practices is we're building a new neural pathway to feel no pain when there's no really good reason to feel pain. We're going to build that trail, that pathway, so that it becomes so familiar that your brain will go there instead of the current pathways leading to pain. I love this photo. This is actually me on my bike in the Chilcotin mountain range. Makes me want to go there right now. We travel a lot with our mountain bikes. It's kind of the thing my partner and I have in common, and it's how we met. And when we go some places, I'm just blown away by how easy building trail must be. So where I live in Squamish, it is very lush rainforest. It's lush forest. It's very thick. There's a lot of work that goes into building trails here. And when I travel to certain places, like looking at this photo in the Chilcotins or in the interior of BC, I just think how easy it must be to just ride a trail in. You just ride your bike over and over in the same place and it builds the trail for you. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to ride in some new neural pathways. We're going to ride it over and over and over, practice and practice and practice until the trail gets ridden in, familiar, easy to see, easy to travel, and an obvious choice for your brain. You know when you go somewhere else like hiking, riding, or whatever you're into, and you have GPS so you kind of know where you are on the map, but you have an idea of like what trails you want to check out, but when there's forks in the trail, and the GPS can seem a little inaccurate, and there's probably new trails that aren't even on whatever GPS map you have, and so you decide which trail to take based on what looks the most popular, right? Like you look for footprints or tire tracks, and you go the way the majority go because it's more likely to be what the locals think is a good time. And your brain is taking the most trodden path through your nervous system. So we need to build this new trail of safety messages and no pain and make it so fun and so familiar it keeps going back over and over and over.